Well, welcome everybody. This is Community Roundhouse for July 2021. It's really great to see everybody here. And I'll turn this back over to Brian. Brian, it's all yours.
Hey everybody, how are y'all tonight? It's good to see y'all here. It's good to see Jason, and there's Dave BNSF scale. We got Steve Arnold in the house. Nissy's here. Dragon Lover 68 is here. I talked to Wild Bill earlier. That's Risden and Rome Railroad. Good to see you, man. Good to have you here. We got, as you could see, we got John and Jerry with us. We're going to get Vinny a link in just a few minutes. We wanted to make sure that we had a good quality stream going with three of us. There's Mystic John. We wanted to make sure we had a decent stream going with the three of us before we tried to add anybody else and had a disaster. So, how are you tonight, Jerry?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
It's good. There's John 2618, Joe Rader.
And Norman Rose here.
Oh, I didn't see Norman.
Yeah,
hey, Norman.
Everybody in chat.
Train Freak. I don't know if you mentioned him, Jason.
I did.
Joe Rader's here. Hello, Joe. Steve Arnold's here. I don't know if you mentioned Steve. And there's cousin Vinny. We don't hear you, Vin.
What's going on?
Vinny's here.
I do not see him.
I see him.
Oh, I do see him down here now. I do see Cuz. And he is in the picture, but we don't have sound. He's not muted on my end. So we are good. It's a good picture too. Yeah, I don't have any settings different for Cuz than I do any of us, so it might be something on his end. Sounds like he might have just turned something on there.
I think you got it, Vinny.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
now we
sir.
hear you.
Certainly can. Good to see you, Cuz. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. How's it going with you guys?
We good. We good. Nice to have all four of us here on camera. It's been a minute since we've done that without
really
awful squelches and all that good stuff.
Yeah, no disasters tonight.
Well, we hope not. At least not at this point. We had a good test this morning or this afternoon too. So
yeah, it worked out well.
Everything looks good.
Yeah.
I'm watching it over here. It's a 20-second delay, which is confusing, but it does look good over there. So
how you doing, Art? Good to see you.
Oh, Art's in the house. Nice to see you, Art.
Yep, Art dropped in. Martin Searsma's here. Good to see you, Martin. Dragon Lover 68. Hey, Dragon Lover.
Cuz what one of the things we got going on tonight is John helped me order some stuff. I finished this mill, this Walther's mill the other day, and I'm gonna put some lighting in the top here, in the bottom here, and under this eave, as well as in the office. So John helped me order some LEDs and a PCB and a toggle switch. And he's going to help, and maybe you are, and maybe Jerry, help me understand what it is that I'm going to need to do with all this stuff to make that happen. Because I think that'd look really good with some lights in there.
Yeah, I did that kit about probably 7 or 8 years ago. It's a fun kit to do.
It's very simple kit. It was fun.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah, very fun kit.
There wasn't a whole lot of stuff that was super tough. Now, I had to do a little modification here because my log pond is on the other side of the tracks.
Right.
So I cut the conveyor, and I've actually got it coming out in the log pond, and I'm going to put like a culvert here and simulate it running, the logs running under the tracks, because I couldn't get them over the track.
Good idea.
So, yeah, we'll see how that works out. But I kind of feel like Wilmer. I did one house, and now like I want to build a bunch more. It's like
Brian, Steve Arnold says your layout's looking amazing.
Well, thank you very much. I actually have some videos coming out. I have at least plaster down all the way around now. So I don't have it all done painting anything, but I do have mountains all the way around. So I'm not looking at pink foam or plywood anymore. Now I do have pink foam on the ground up there at Winter Park because I'm got to put some snow on it. But anyway, that's one of the things that I was hoping to learn more about. I'm also getting ready to get into DCC++, because for one, my Rail Power 1300 that Steve Arnold so kindly sent me a couple of years ago, it is on its last legs. It has served me well, because I run trains almost constantly out here.
Well, in my opinion, there's two people you need to talk to about the DCC++, and that's Tom
Yeah.
James and Jimmy DIY.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are the two guys I know that actually get into that, and they do the plus and all the different stuff that goes along with the Arduino stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm wanting to start out really simple. All I really want to do to start out is just speed match my locos, because it's tough for me to get many cars around this layout without having multiple locos. And if they're not speed matched, it's almost impossible for one of them not to push the other one a flange off or something like that. Hey, there's Digger. Digger's in the house.
There's Digger.
Hey,
Roy
Digger.
Container Man's here. And Brian, Roy had a comment he wanted me to pass on to you here. Let me find it again. Said, just wait 20 seconds before you talk.
What does that mean?
I guess that's referring to the 20-second delay you mentioned earlier.
Oh, I hear you. Yes, you. It is. Now I do have it muted because that'll kill me. But yeah. Oh, Steve said his rail powers are going out too. So anyway, basically what I'm figuring is one of the least expensive ways for me to go, because I do want to do DCC. One of the least expensive ways to do it, and the one that opens you up to the most options is probably DCC++, and it's a little economical. So,
very economical as compared to buying a DCC system.
Yeah.
Brian, Steve says his two are on their last legs also, but he's not going DCC.
Yeah. Well,
so Brian, are you good with computer?
I'm okay. I mean, I can learn on them. I work with them at work and stuff. So
because on those Arduinos and the DCC and plus and all that, you got to do a lot of program writing. You got you actually got to program it.
It's actually amazing. I'm in a class for work right now, and my homework tonight was to learn about Arduino Unos for the class I'm taking for work.
Oh, really? That's funny.
I get on here and I'm like sending pictures of the homework to the guys on the Google Hangouts chat going, y'all won't believe this. Look at my homework. And it's learning about circuits and Arduino Uno. And last night's homework was the Tinkercad, which you do the 3D printing software and stuff like that. So I'm actually getting to learn about some pretty cool stuff. Yeah. Well, like I was thinking, God, I could print out, like now that I've done a kit, I figured out all the stuff on the scratch build that I did that I didn't do, like the window frames and those kind of things. But that kind of stuff would be easy to 3D print and inexpensive too. And so that's the stuff that's real hard. And Vinny, you probably know better than anybody else in the scratch building and stuff. I imagine the toughest part for you is, do you scratch build the doors and window frames and stuff? Or
no, I buy them.
Okay.
I buy them and they're available. It's just that some of if you're doing a very modern era, there's very little to choose from. But doors and windows are available in N scale. and NHL.
Okay. Well, like I said, I didn't buy anything when I did mine, and that mill that I did over there that's got Jerry's name on it. I haven't done any doors or windows or anything like that because I didn't have a clue how to even go about starting to do it. I mean, other than I guess I could have bought them, but I feel like
there's guys like Mark Stewart from Mark's Structures or whatever it is. Stu Structures.
Stu Structures.
He builds his own windows and doors and frame and all that stuff. He builds it all.
Gee.
Oh, he's a master at scratch building that little stuff.
I cannot do it. I mean, I've been working with N-Scale for so long, and I just can't do it.
Yeah,
it's just too small. And I don't even think that they make plastic that goes down to actual like a 2x4 or a 2x6 in N-Scale. I don't think so.
that would be pretty small.
I don't know. I mean, these I was trying to do like that right there. Each of those is 2 feet wide. Let's see. You can't even see it. Let me see if I can't. But anyway, there's 5 boards on this, each 2 feet wide. I couldn't even hardly draw them any closer together. You know, I'm trying to, there's no way you can do a 2x4. I mean, even getting them down into drawing about a foot is one. And I actually think John and I figured out a toothpick is a foot in diameter.
A foot in diameter? Are you talking about a round toothpick?
Yeah. So, like about the size of a telephone pole, about a foot in diameter is a toothpick.
Yeah,
so really, if you were scratch building in scale, using toothpicks is not too big, not too small.
No, actually, this is a flat toothpick, and the fat end up here is just over a foot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now let's see what the bottom is. The bottom is about 6 inches, so you can use the toothpick, but it's not. The problem is it's not straight. You can see it's on a slight angle,
Right.
so it'd be kind of hard to use this.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Michael's, you can get really small wooden dowels. I've gotten them that about 1.5 millimeters, I think.
That's pretty small.
The problem is they stop getting cheaper at a certain width.
They start getting more expensive, right?
Yeah, it's like you get down to a certain one, they're dropping in price, and then you get to the ones that fit our scale, and they all of a sudden start jacking them back up. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
It costs a lot to make stuff small.
That's really funny.
Hey, Jerry, Roy wants you to grunt so they know you're alive.
I can't get a word in edgewise with these. It's like they won't stop talking.
All right, it's all your turn, Jerry.
Yeah, I'm highlighting Jerry.
Here.
Jerry's highlighting.
So Roy is asking, is DCC++ easier than NCE? I'm going to say no, because NCE, you plug it in and you're done and it's over. Yeah, it costs more, but that's the convenience of it.
NCE and Digitrax and all of them are easier to get started with because you plug it in, but they're not any easier to use. It's the same thing. It's the same system.
Yeah, it's the same system, but there's more involved in DCC++.
Not that much. I mean,
the
list that I gave
for it.
The list that I gave, you need the handheld controller. You need a control box for the NCE.
But you need your computer, right?
Well, you could do it with an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi, but need some sort of
there's more involved in it. For somebody that's computer literate, it's the way to go. For somebody who's stupid like me, it's a little harder. I'm just not like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's harder to get started, but once you get set up, it's the same thing.
Right, it's getting started.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more involved to get set up, but
Right.
using it's no different.
Right.
Well,
Steve
yeah,
Arnold
they-
says, Jerry, just ring a bell or raise your hand.
Hey, Roy E., good to see you, man. Roy's in the house. Roy
That's just
Elson,
my
good to see
opinion
you.
on it.
Yes, Norman, you're right. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I agree.
So I mean, like Roy, if Roy H wanted to put this in his truck, I kind of think it wouldn't be as easy because it needs more support than just the NCE system.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not that it's not as complicated as you build it up in your head. It
Well,
really
nothing is. I mean, nothing really is. I mean,
True.
ballasting's not that hard until you start doing it and screwing it up.
I mean,
Wiring's not that hard until you start doing it.
Exactly.
You know,
Tell me about
It's
it.
like you bring it up in your head and it's like forget it. It's like,
right.
you know, it's the end of the world. You might as well just die. It's easier.
well, I have to buy the same
But, yeah.
decoders.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just
I mean,
I'm just talking to it through a different format, I guess, or whatever.
yeah,
It's just the way we're talking to it. And I guess that I'm the cheap date for talking
yeah,
to it.
that's fine. I mean, you know, that's
Absolutely.
fine.
I'm about saving the
Yeah.
money.
I
Well-
was too. I was too until I found that the NCE wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be. You know, when I was at Yankee Dabbler and they're talking to me $700, I'm like, yeah, no. I mean, he
$700
was trying to
what?
get. Well, he was trying to get me into a big system that I really didn't
Oh.
need.
Like a
You
big,
know,
like a big
so-
track system or something like that.
Yeah, something like that I really didn't need. You know, I mean, like I got this little layout. I don't need, you know, this
Really?
big thing. You know, and then I settled. Oh, okay, I'll settle for the ESU system. Oh, that's $400. Not bad, but I didn't want to go there either. So then I start looking at DCC++. And I was like, maybe. And then I found the NCE Super Cab or cab control that was $170. I was like, okay.
It's not bad.
Even the
it's
entry
not.
level, even the
Yeah.
entry level Digitrax is like a little over $200. The Zephyr is just
Right.
over $200. So,
Yeah, so like for me, I didn't want the footprint of the Zephyr.
right,
You know, I just didn't have the room for the footprint of the Zephyr
right.
where I'm keeping my layout. So me, you know, I just take my little controller, put it in the drawer when I'm done. It's a wall wart in the plug, and I'm, you know, so it doesn't take up a lot of room for me.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I'm, you know, and I'm not taking away from the DCC++, but I'm happy with my NCE system.
Steve 87th just brought up a question. Are we still saving DCC++ when you need to have a dedicated computer? Well, if you had to buy a dedicated computer for it, certainly not. But you don't need a dedicated computer. If you have a laptop or your computer within range to connect to it, you're good. That's what I'm doing. I'm using an old laptop.
Well, yeah, you can just have a power supply and a phone.
And you can do it with a Raspberry Pi. So it's you know, we are talking pretty cheap if you know to get into it. I mean,
Yes,
you
yeah,
can
I
make
don't
it
know.
cheap.
I don't know any of those Raspberry Pis or Arduino. I don't know anything about any of those.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it helps to have some knowledge about it. If you don't, that makes it tougher. But that's true with anything.
Well, one thing about that too, though, is I find that stuff interesting to me. So it doesn't seem like a chore to learn about that and to get used to using those and stuff. It seems kind of cool. Whereas I could see that, you know, certain people would just think that, like if you're Vinny, who worked on cars all the time with these computers constantly, you probably don't want to deal with doing that stuff, which I think is one of the things he's mentioned before. You
Yes,
know,
it is.
Myself, that's not my case. So it is kind of, it's like something I'll learn about. It's something Vinny's over learning about. He wants he wants something that's a little easier to deal with.
Yeah, I just want to plug and play like Jerry, except my system's a little bit more, but I just want to plug it in and go. I don't want to start, putting in codes and this and that and everything. I watched Jimmy DIY do it a couple of times and I just got so confused. I said, nah, this is not for me.
Norman Rowe asked about how about an iPad, and sure, you can install JMI on an iPad, and you're good to go.
Yep.
Yes, Ron, Raspberry Pi does sound good. That's Ron.
John 2618 says, I'm not a fan of using my phone. He likes buttons.
Yes.
Oh, I'm with you, John.
Yeah. And Eminem Rails was happy to point out that iPhone does have buttons.
All right, Brian. So let's get to the chase here.
All right. Well, John, for the first thing I don't understand.
Okay.
All right. First of all, this toggle switch
Yes.
has 2 wires out of it.
Okay.
That's a good start.
Well, what I don't understand is, shouldn't I have 2 coming in and 2 going out?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. See, this is where I'm in uncharted territory. Okay, so I don't know that. Second of all, I don't know if this wall wart will be sufficient. This was actually on a Bachmann, little Bachmann controller.
See
And
if there's some specifications on there.
it says input AC 120, output AC 16 volts.
That might be too much for those LEDs.
It's definitely too much for those LEDs.
They say 12 to 16, but I don't want.
Oh, they say 12 to 16? Okay.
They say 12 to 18.
Okay, then that's fine.
Right.
They're usually like 9 to 12.
Yeah. Did they give you any resistors with those?
Yeah, the resistors are already soldered in place.
So,
Yeah,
So
the LEDs are pre-wired and they have the included resistors.
now, if that's a little too heavy of a wall wart, I could try to find a smaller one.
No, if that's 16 volt output and these things and these LEDs say 12 to 16 or 12 to 18, you're good.
Yeah, it's good.
The resistor will take care of that.
So,
Now, Brian, do you know what an LED is?
no.
It's a light emitting diode. Okay. And
Alright.
diode makes the electricity flow in only one direction.
Okay.
So if you hook up the power to it and it doesn't light up, take the leads off and just turn them around and put it the other way and it'll light up.
Okay. So you will still have one of these ground because there's 2 wires coming in. There's 2 wires on each of the LED.
Right. One will go to positive, one goes to negative.
All right. But what I don't understand is where will the wall wart connect to this, or how will this connect to the PCB if it only has 2 wires?
All right. You're going to take your positive to one end of that toggle switch.
Okay.
Off the wall wart.
All right.
Yeah, from the wall wart to the one end of that wire on the toggle switch.
All right.
From the other wire on that toggle switch, you connect it to the positive on your power distribution board. And then connect your negative directly running straight through, ignoring the switch.
Okay.
Yes, Roy, I know he said it was 16 volt AC, but these LEDs handle AC or DC, so he'll be good with these.
All right. So one thing, this is not technical, but I don't know why I bought these like this. How in the heck am I going to put those somewhere?
You should be able to screw off the nut on the end, like where the switch is. Drill a hole in your faceplate, put it in, screw it back on.
Gotcha. Thank you for that too. That was probably simple, but I didn't know that would screw off, so I was
Yes.
scared. All right,
That's
so,
about the only thing I know.
all right. So, will I be able to run?
What does he have, John? Does he have an actual printed circuit board, or is that a distribution block?
It's a distribution block.
All right. So, does this block? Will it have a negative and a positive coming into it?
Yeah, there should be a negative, positive on both ends.
There it is. And
Okay.
So what I'm asking is, will
I
I
see
be
that's
able?
one of those pinouts. Okay.
Will I be able to run a? So I'm going to have the wall wart coming off. I don't know if it actually is probably long enough for me to run straight to it. I don't know that I'm going to need to extend. That's what I was going to ask.
Okay.
So I'm just going to put, I'm actually going to run the positive, you said to the toggle.
Right.
And where's the
Right.
negative going to go?
The negative goes right to the negative on the power distribution block.
Okay, so the positive is going to go to toggle switch, and negative goes to the power distribution block.
And then the other lead from that toggle switch goes to the positive on the distribution block.
Okay, so, but, all right, gotcha. That makes sense.
That switch is just interrupting it.
Gotcha. Okay. Does make sense now. I couldn't see any of that before. So now, what I have to figure out is, didn't you say these would connect jump into each other?
Yeah, the positive and negative on the other end of that power distribution block, you can just connect to another one. So you can chain them together.
So John, that block that he's got, is it one row is all positive and one row is all negative?
Yes.
Okay, so then he could just put the positive and negative at the very end, and then just keep adding LEDs as he goes, as many as he
Right.
wants.
It has 13 positive and negative connections, and then another positive and negative at the end, so he could chain that to another power distribution block.
Got it.
John, it seems Rick needs a diagram.
Yeah, I just saw that.
What?
Rick, it's pretty straightforward, I guess, right?
Yeah, it is.
Even I could do it.
So I'll have to fish that out of there. But
So it's basically power to the strip, and then going from the strip to the light, and that's it.
Right. And
And
that
so-
strip just distributes the power to all the
Yeah,
LEDs.
and all
So
you're
that-
doing is you're just interrupting the electricity going to wherever you want it to go to.
It's
But
just like
if you had, wait a second, if you had lights all over the place, they would all turn on with that one switch. You would have
Yes.
to divide them up if you wanted them to come on
Yeah.
at different times.
you would need to add more switches in another block if
Right.
you could
Another
do that.
block.
Okay,
But yeah,
okay, I got you.
so let me ask you something.
yes.
Could I, if I have the negative running in here, am I going to just be able to run positives? And could I run like the negative for this LED just to any ground over here? Or do I need to run the negative into here?
You need to run the negative into the power distribution block and the
So-
positive
Okay.
to
That
complete
makes sense.
the circuit.
That makes sense. All right. So I can do that. I'm just thinking about.
That's
Martin
not
Steersman
nice, Martin.
says he wants to see you set fire to your layout.
Turn him out
Mm.
Nice guy.
in the corner.
Well, I tell you what,
That's terrible.
y'all would have me on
Terrible.
here. Y'all would have me on here begging for donations if I burnt my layout down. I don't want to hear me. I don't want to hear me on here like that lady begging for the feed the children and all that stuff. Who was it? Go ahead.
Don't worry, that's Heath that sets fire to things.
Does he? Has Heath really set fire to something?
Well, he's had a few turnouts release some blue smoke.
Yeah. Well, I fried my light board trying to get cute. I understand that.
Yes, Roy, I understand that, but these LEDs are rated for 16-volt AC or DC.
Yeah, I wonder if I don't think I have a picture of them. I could maybe share my screen.
Brian,
let me know.
Ron
Maybe
Bright
Brian,
says.
if you go ahead, John.
Ron Bright says the wall wart will run around 200 LEDs for about an hour before it shuts down and needs to be you need to let it cool down.
All right. Is there a way? What if I'm running 10 LEDs? Do we still need to turn it off every hour?
I would say, I'm guessing no. If it'll run 200 for an hour, it should run 10 for 20 hours.
If you want my opinion to run your LEDs, what you need to get is a computer power supply. Computer power supply has 3 different voltages. It's got a 3 volts, a 5.5 volt, and a 12 volt. And you can hook up the wires in a certain way that you can actually get more than 12 volts out of this thing. eBay's got them for about $20, and they're real easy to hook up. And I run my LEDs
Because they have a fan.
They have a fan, exactly.
Yeah.
They do have a limit on how many LEDs. Like I tried putting six 300 light strips on one, and I could see the lights getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, and they start to do this little flickering thing. So I knew
Right.
that it was doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a little drawing here for Brian to take a look at.
There we go. And Brian, Ron
Maybe.
Bright says it should be just fine. Just watch how much heat it makes.
Oh, okay. Hold on, Ben. Let me highlight you.
Yeah,
All right. So,
you got to talk about what you're seeing here for people that don't know what they're seeing.
Yeah, up here would be the wall wart. Down here would be a toggle switch. This down here would be the terminal block, and this over here would be the LED.
yeah.
So the bottom row of pins on Vinny's drawing there are the positive, and
Yeah.
the upper row is the negative.
Okay. And
you'll
the
have- you'll have
the ones the
13
toggle's going into are the ones facing the outside.
Yeah.
All right.
Bill, I don't think you're going to be burning down your shed running power.
You got it, Brian?
Yes, sir. I do.
All right.
I do. And I'll be able to rewind this too.
Yeah, that's right. You will.
Can I get myself positive interaction points for rewinding my own live stream?
Nisi, really, this is a whole lot easier than it sounds.
It is.
It's kind of it makes it a little bit more difficult when you're listening to 4 different people talk about it.
The drawing, a picture says 1,000 words right there. That's how easy it is.
Yeah. Now, about that plug and play from Woodland Scenics, I have heard about those. What exactly is that, and what kind of cost are those? I mean, just so people at home would know the difference.
It's a whole lot more expensive than what you're doing here.
Yes.
And it does essentially the same thing.
Just an example, like 2 little gooseneck lights from Woodland Scenics are $11.
Yep.
All right.
And then you need the power supply thing to plug into. I don't know how much that is, but I gave up at $11. When I heard those 2 little lights were $11, I was out right there.
Yep.
And you need the thing to plug them into, and then I don't know what else is after that, if anything is. But
last year when I I forget who it was. I don't know. Anyhow, you're right, Jerry. They are expensive.
Yeah.
Matt, the guy I did a build for, in addition to paying me for the build, he sent me a whole kit of those lights. Okay, street lights, the hubs, it probably was like 150 or 200 bucks at least.
Yeah.
I never checked the price on it, but
Yeah,
thank you, Matt, if you're watching.
Yeah, if you know you don't mind spending the money, and
Well,
It-
so
I don't-
I got
yeah, I
two
don't-
of these.
yeah,
I got two of these so
Yeah.
I can have them in two different places. I could put 13 in each, but I got 20 LEDs. So I could have 10 lights in this one, 10 lights in a different one, and I got two toggle switches for 40 bucks. So I can have two 10 sets of LEDs that I can turn off and on. It was 40 bucks. So 20 lights for 40 bucks with toggle switches. So I don't know what that figures out, about $4, I guess. Right?
How many
or-
lights? How many LEDs?
$2. Yeah, 20 LEDs for 40 bucks, basically.
$2.
In
$2.
two blocks. In 2 blocks of 10.
Oh, okay. It's less than that.
I got two toggle switches, two PCBs, and 20 LEDs for 40 bucks.
Yeah.
so the blocks were probably the most expensive part.
Probably.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. They were about $9. I think
Right.
they were 9.
And that they're actually optional. That was just to make it easier, so we didn't have to
I
solder
mean,
them
there's
up
cheaper
ourselves.
ways to do blocks, right?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
oh yeah.
There's cheaper blocks. There's you can make your own. But I've seen people. I don't know how safe it is. I've seen people use rail.
I've
yeah.
used the rail. I've used
Yeah.
the rail.
I mean, I don't know, but
Use
is very
what?
low.
there's other
voltage.
ways to do it. Yeah.
But yeah, for $10 for the two of them,
Yeah.
it just didn't make sense to save that.
Oh.
You know,
And,
for the extra work.
Wow. Ron
I-
Bright spent $1,000 to use
Uh,
the Phoenix power packs to run what lights I had set up on my trucks. I was looking
Oh.
at just over $1,000.
That's what he would have
Wow.
had to pay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a couple power hubs. Maybe it's
And-
more money down in Australia, but
Martin agrees. He says you can
Yeah.
easily spend $300 to $400 before you know it.
yeah.
Well, I like to keep it, dim out here. I mean,
Yeah.
especially if I'm not on camera, it's dim out here, and I think those lights will look really cool. It'd be, I'm gonna put, I guess I'm gonna put one of these up here. I'm probably gonna put this one right up, pretty much under this camera that you're looking at. It's going to be under that, and that way this block would facilitate that helix and this diorama here. And then I'm going to put one down here by that scratch built mill and put two lights in it too.
So Ian had said the Dollar Tree has 10 LED string lights for $1 sometimes. I don't know how well they are, if they're too bright or how they work, but that's a cheap route too.
And yeah, Sean, I'm getting ready to start ordering in some Arduinos and stuff. I'm getting ready to start doing that. So I think we'll be able to convert these over into that.
Yes.
I'm not. Yeah. So
And you'll be able to control them that way. Yeah.
yeah,
That was part of the reason of the thinking behind doing it this way.
yeah. So I should be able to control this lighting without. If the toggle switch is on, I should be able to control this lighting from the PC one day.
Yes.
So that'll be cool too. So I can turn it off and on that way.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like Bill, new friend or he's talking, he's saying I'm doing a little bit at a time. So yeah, if you want to go to Woodland Scenic Way, you just buy one every
Sure.
once in a while.
Yeah.
Well,
There's nothing wrong with that. No,
I mean, it is a lot easier to
Yeah.
do it with the Woodland Scenics. I mean, that's what you're paying for is the ease that they have
Exactly.
everything
Yeah.
for you. And just all you do is plug it in and you're good to go. You know.
Right.
right. Yeah.
But this
Wow,
really
Billy.
isn't that much more difficult.
Are you using
No,
Cato
yeah.
Unitrack, Bill? I think Bill uses Cato Unitrack too.
I don't remember.
Does he
if
net scale?
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is,
I think
is
he
he on
uses-
scale?
Yeah, I think he uses the good stuff. So,
And Norman Rowe commented that you can
Yeah.
actually paint over the lens of the LED to tone it down if you like.
oh, that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
So maybe if your dollar store lights are too bright, you just put something over them to
Sure.
tone them down a little bit, right? I mean, it's not like you're going to put your lights on 24 hours a day, 7
No.
days a week, or
Couple
Yeah.
hours or
Yeah.
whatever, run off
whatever.
session.
So
Yeah.
if it takes a battery or two, big deal. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it, right?
Oh, sure.
Right.
In fact, the original idea, we were going to power this through Arduinos. But we decided to go this route and then add the Arduino in later when he gets to the rest of the DCC.
We were actually,
Bill says some Cato and some FlexTrack 2.
It's funny how the chat comes up faster than the video on YouTube, but it's instant here on whatever we're using here. What are we using? OBS?
Right. OBS Ninja. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm watching over here and I'm saying, "Wow!" I said, "He just said that, and it's right there." I said, "Oh, okay," but the picture's lagging like crazy.
Jesse wants
yes,
to know.
DC, you can put plastic
Yeah.
cloth on Masonite.
Yes.
Okay.
is that what you call this stuff?
Yes.
Masonite?
It used to be
Masonite.
called
That thin stuff?
Masonite. It's called
Yeah.
hardboard now.
Yeah, it's called
Hardboard now.
hardboard.
Now, Jerry, I thought I called that hardboard one time a while back and you corrected me.
No, that's hard.
Well,
I don't know.
Maybe it
Jerry,
was Claude that told me it was Mason.
this is a question for Jerry. Isn't hardboard smooth on both sides and masonite smooth on one side and rough on the other?
I guess it really depends where you buy it, because I've bought hardboard at my lumber store and it's smooth both sides.
Right.
I've bought hardboard at Home Depot and it's smooth one side and textured on the other.
Yeah, that's
So
what
So I
this
guess
is.
it just really depends where you buy it.
But they're both considered hardboard.
Yeah, they're both
Yeah.
the same. Masonite.
I still call it
Is just
Masonite.
an old name.
Yeah.
Masonite's been around since, I guess, the 40s or 50s.
Right, they've been around for a while.
It's always
I
been
don't know,
Masonite,
forever.
and it'll always be Masonite for me.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
Roy
Me
Hardwick
too.
agrees.
Yeah, as long as
Probably
y'all
back then,
understand.
it probably had asbestos in it or something.
Mm.
Probably did.
And they probably changed the name of it. I don't know, but
That could
it's
be.
all the same. It's all the same stuff. It's just
Yeah,
dust and glue.
right. Hardboard is the name. Masonite is the name of a company, kind of like Q-tips
Okay.
and cotton swabs. That's a good
There you-
point,
there you
Stevie.
go.
You're probably right.
Yeah,
Hey,
Yep,
That
and Hard
makes
agrees.
sense.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody's
Masonite is
agreeing.
a trade
Masonite is a
name.
trade
Yeah.
name.
I do remember you could get Masonite in colors and like patterns, kind of like paneling.
Okay.
Yeah,
Martin
things
just said. Martin says you can get Masonite is smooth on one side, Doron is smooth on both sides.
there
Okay,
you go.
yeah. Like my lumber yard just calls it hardboard.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't figured out exactly how I'm gonna cover this stuff. I thought about almost making like a boardwalk type deal on top, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm just gonna cover all this with rocks and ground cover and grass and all that. I haven't really decided. It's
So
everywhere.
Does the hardboard, the smooth side, take paint well, or do you have to sand it?
I always scuff mine up a little bit. I don't sand it. I just scuff it.
Right, just give us some bite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you guys watched my video a couple of months ago on how I did my backboards, that's exactly what I did. I just scuffed it up and then I didn't even use any primer, just right to the color.
I've actually done it both ways, scuffing it and not scuffing it. And I've had good results both both
So
ways.
either way, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would think that it would take paint better scuffed, but it's also going to drink a little more.
Oh, there's Dave Thurber. Hey, Dave. Good to see you. And Roy
Yeah,
Hardwick
cricket
says
day.
that the UK has colored Masonite. He saw that
Yeah.
on YouTube from Prague, whoever Prague is.
Hey, I'm glad Dave came in here. Dave has a live stream tomorrow morning at 7:30. Did I say that right, Cricket Dave? He's doing a live stream 7:30 a.m. on Thursday. I've always called him that. 7:30 a.m. on Thursday mornings, if I'm not mistaken. He's got a live stream.
He's been doing
He's up
that.
early.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Poppy, good to see you,
Yeah,
man.
good to see you, Pat.
Let's see. And Dave, Crooked Dave says yes.
Good deal. Good deal. I'm usually up, so
Dave.
that's 6:30 here, but I'm up.
Hey, Pappy, how you doing, buddy? Hi, Roy Eltham, Dave Crooked River, Art, DNSFN Scale, Dragon Lover, Container Man,
Container
Missy.
Man, that would be me. He said someone used the rough side instead of the smooth side, and I did. I painted my backdrop on the rough side intentionally for the extra texture.
Well, that's a good idea, I guess.
It worked out well. I didn't know if it was going to, but it was an experiment, and I liked the way it came out. So
Now, doing it that way probably sucked up a lot more paint.
Yeah.
well, it was primed first.
Oh, okay. All right.
That I did prime because I wanted a white primer. I didn't want the brown, background soaking through.
Oh, look at this guy. He could take that whole thing right out of there.
Oh yeah.
So Brian, one thing: are the LEDs? Do they have like long leads on them, or do you have to
I'm gonna have to extend them.
extend them? Okay,
they
so
do
you
have
come
long
a certain
leads.
length.
What
Right,
I
they're
would
not
do-
going to go 10 feet or something.
What I would do is I would put the block as close to the LEDs as possible and run the power to the block. Make
Yeah.
the power lines longer.
Yeah,
And the LED
minimize right.
Minimize the LED length.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Roy. I had to be difficult and different. You're right.
Yeah, because I'm making everything I can like this because we have hurricanes. And so I need to be able to grab something like this and take it to the house inside.
Got
You
it.
know, and if I do that as much as possible in the event of tragedy, it won't be so tragic.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to
Mark-
do that.
Lose the house, but save the layout.
Yeah.
Brian, how are you going to decide which ones to take and which ones to leave?
Well, I take everything that's not pinned down inside when they come.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Basically, anything electronic and anything that's not nailed down goes inside.
Mark from M&M Rails just said, Iron Brian and Crooked Dave. Excuse me, I have a script to write.
Oh, very cool. I like it. That sounds promising. So I put holes under. I
That
put
didn't sound good.
holes. Well, it's all right. I got this LED in here, but I put holes under here. I hope they'll fit through there. Looks like they will.
And I guess you just glue them in.
Well,
So, like in the case though, where you want to take that off, are you going to make the wires
oh shoot, it's just not big enough.
disconnect or something, or are you going to have to unscrew every
Well,
leg?
no, he'll need to have a disconnect someplace, and Steve 87 just mentioned that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Norman says you can see Brian floating around in a hurricane holding his little buildings.
Well, but what I could do, why can't I'm gonna have 4 lights? I'm gonna have 4 lights on this diorama. Why can't I have those 4 lights all connected to each other? And with one positive and negative running out to all 4 of them.
You can do
So-
that, but you have to do it when you piggyback the LEDs. You have to go positive to negative, to positive to negative, positive to negative, and then back.
Okay.
And you're going to have to be playing with resistors to get it right because
Yes.
Well, the reason why I said that is because they made me think it'd be good if I could unhook one
One
positive, one negative to pull a
Right.
diorama.
Right.
well,
Rather
if you
than
put
four.
Makes sense.
if you put that power distribution block underneath that diorama, then you can just disconnect it there.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
disconnect the powers coming into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, and this way the block and everything will come up with
I'll do that. I'll put it right under here then.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
so
would.
maybe
somewhere a little
like
different.
if you wanted to do a bunch of them, maybe you get smaller distribution blocks. Right?
Yeah.
So if you
Then
didn't
I can
need
switch them
10
out.
and they sold 4s or 6s or something, you could get smaller
Well,
blocks.
I haven't seen those
don't know.
in the smaller ones, but you could do this with
Yeah.
terminal blocks too, and they come in
Yeah.
all
I don't
different sizes.
the ones
Right.
I just got from off of Amazon came in a pack of 6, and
Right.
it came with the connectors
Yeah,
that you can jump on. It was like $12 for 6 of them.
right. This is the same thing. It's just the jumpers are already built in. You
Right,
can't,
already
you can't
built in.
separate- yeah.
Right.
Right. And Ron Bright says, yes, you can wire the 4 together and then just run 2 wires to it. Yeah. Yeah, Dave, Jerry is awake. We just don't let him talk very often.
Yeah, they don't let me talk, Dave.
Okay, now's where we highlight Jerry again.
There he is. See, he's awake.
There he's highlighted again. You're
I have
on
nothing to talk about in there.
you're main cam. So they asked for him and he's back.
I'm okay. I'm still here. I'm listening, taking notes.
Taking notes. He's learning. He's seeking
I'm learning.
information.
So what I did was I drilled holes in the bottom of this, and they're not wide enough for one of these to fit through. So I got to make them a little wider after the stream tonight to get them in there.
So what is it? What is that?
What is what?
That little rectangle thing.
Well, these are the LEDs. This is 2 of them. They're together, but
Oh, okay.
Like, so you can take them off of whatever that is.
No, these
They're
are
just like a single little bulb.
These are SMD LEDs, surface mount device. They get soldered directly to a PCB. So it's
Really?
a tiny PCB board.
Where's that at?
That's what that square thing is. Not now. Where the LED is, Brian. Show Jerry the LED.
Oh, so I was just thinking it was this little tiny bulb, but it's
No,
this little rectangle thing.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
a little board, but the light bulb is so small that they have to have some way to handle it, so they put it on this board.
right, exactly.
Oh, okay.
It's about the size of a match head, probably.
Yeah, probably, or a grain of rice, maybe even smaller than a grain of
Yeah.
rice.
Yeah.
It's not time yet, Mark.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was like a little bigger, like a
Like a regular,
pencil tip or
like
something.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
and
know.
I was
Yeah,
kind
I
of hoping
guess.
they would be
This is a
flexible.
different kind. These are tiny. These are about probably a millimeter or so.
yeah, they're really tiny.
I was kind of hoping they'd be flexible, so I could, squish it a little bit and push it in there.
Squish
No,
it.
they're not.
Yeah. Well, like these,
Roy
Brian,
Container
Brian,
those
Man.
LED strips that are on the soft strip.
Don't you
Right.
have one? Don't you have one of the roofs off of that building already? Can't you go through the top and push it down through the hole?
Yeah, I've got one in here now. This one right here has to come up from the bottom,
Okay. All right.
and the light that's going to be in the interior here needs to come up through the bottom.
Okay.
And I want the light that's going to be in the eave of this to come up through this bottom and feed through here. So I'm going to have a light up here, a light in here, and a light here, and a light in here. So I've got a hole under this one and a hole under this one. I just didn't make them big enough. The LEDs weren't here when I made the holes today.
Right.
So I was in class. I muted my mic and I was out here drilling. It's a virtual class. So, yeah. I was paying attention too, but I was drilling as well.
Oh, good night, Digger. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, Diggers,
So
it's
are we
late.
going to hook this thing up?
Not going to be
Are we
able
going to
to.
see this thing light up?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
you're gonna see it. Well, you want me
Give
if
me
you
my
want.
money back.
Here's what I'll tell you. If because McCarville goes on in 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
If when he goes off, I got lights on, I'll go live.
All right.
So that's what I'll do. But there's no way I'll have them on before that because I have some power issues to deal with that I'm not even going to show y'all because y'all are just it's awful.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, if y'all think that Griswold's Christmas thing, I mean, this is like I got Griswold's Christmas going on out here. You know, Clark's basement down there. And so really, I have a limited number of outlets that I can use safely and effectively, and I'm using twice more than that already. So what I'm going to do is I've got to find a good place for the wart to go in because, you know, a wall wart doesn't take up one space in a power strip most of the time. It takes up
at least two. Yeah.
if not three in a power strip.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I've got to be creative as to where I place that wall wart because wall warts are terrible. They're only good for what we're using them for in this capacity. Otherwise, they just take up space.
What would be like the difference of using like laptop brick? You know, the power supply for a laptop.
Well, that's somebody suggested. Vinny suggested doing that.
No, I'm not sure.
no,
I don't
that's
know if the power. I don't know if
He's
the power
talking about
supply-
something else.
No, I was
It depends
talking
on the
about-
output.
I was talking about a PC
Power supply.
power supply
For a desktop
talking-
computer.
for a tower.
That has a fan and all.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about like the brick for a laptop. You know, like
The output is probably too high on that.
like this is my laptop brick.
Yeah, it's probably too high.
Oh, I hear
Probably
what
has
you're saying.
the output's probably too high on that. You'd have to look at it, but
Yeah,
Brian,
10,000
Steve,
volts, too high, right?
yeah, Steve 87 has a question, and he wants to know if you're going to put a light at the log entry because he
Now-
sees that on most mills there.
Is he referring to this one?
I believe that's what he's talking
If
about.
he's
I
referring
think
to
so.
that, yes, there should be lighting there. I should actually there's an LED that's going to come up in the inside here. And because I'm going to have one fed through that same hole in this eave, I'm sure I'll run the other LED in here, probably near the conveyor. So yes, it should be like that. I guess I'm going to find my sins in the model when I light up the inside, won't I?
Yep.
So, Vinny,
Yeah,
how do you fix that? Do you use plaster or glue or what do you do?
Try not to have mistakes.
Well, I understand that, but you have to understand this is my first completed kit, but other than
I would
truck
use
in
putty.
Jerry's truck.
Well, here, I'll give you an example. This is what I'm doing right now. This is for Gary Weiss. And he said, do your magic and put it back together. This thing was like in a gazillion pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to put it together and just various glues I was using. And just, it's pretty solid right now. I had to do 3 of these. Okay. He said, you think you could have it done right away? You know, but
Mm-hmm. So, what did you say, John? Mud?
I'm putty.
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 Okay, and then paint it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you
Okay.
There you go. Tamiya putty or squadron putty or something like
okay.
that.
All right.
You know,
But
I saw somebody make putty, and he used CA glue and baking soda.
Yeah.
And he said it worked. I mean, he showed you
I think you're right,
the
Jerry.
aftermath,
I think I've seen that same thing.
Yeah.
and it looked pretty good.
I've used that. I've
Yeah,
used
so you're just
as
using
a
the
as like a
baking
gap
soda
filler.
as a filler, you
Yeah.
know, for the CA
Yeah.
glue. Yeah. I don't know.
The putty
Sure, the
putty
putty is
works.
easier.
Well, the putty works
Yeah.
if you want to sand it and smooth it and finish it.
Right. Yeah.
On the
Well,
inside of the
that's what he
building, it
did.
doesn't. Yeah, but on the
Yeah.
inside of the building, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, no.
No.
All right, everybody.
Norman's saying, real quick, he saw somebody use a cheap holiday battery driven votive candle that flickers. Is that for, what was that for, Norman?
Oh,
You can answer in the text. We'll be here.
And
Yeah.
Pappy suggested black tape.
We could say good
oh, on
night.
the inside. That might work. You're right.
Steve, Squadron Putty is gone.
Oh,
Wow,
Yeah, I think they took it off the market.
What's
Didn't
that
they?
did
sound?
they really? I have no idea.
Y'all hear that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's weird.
I don't know what
what's
that was.
that?
it's the drums. It's the native
Yeah.
drums. Time to go.
Anyway, so what I need all y'all to do is make sure that you have set the bell icon for this channel in case in an hour from now I have lights. I go back live. Y'all will get the notification that way. I think I'm the only one around here who's usually in bed before that. So y'all come back and see me if I get lights going. And if you have the energy after this hour, go over and hang out with Michael McCarville at his live stream. I want to thank y'all for coming tonight. We appreciate y'all. We got John is going to be live on Sunday for Sidetrack Sunday. Is that right, John? What you got going on?
That's correct. Sunday night at 8 p.m. It's usually Heath's night, but him and I switched. So, yep, I will. I'll be on, and I have no idea what I'm talking about yet.
Okay. Cuz, any announcements from you?
Just that hope to see everybody Friday night. And I don't know what I'm going to be talking about. No, actually, I'm wrong. I have a guest this Friday night. Yeah,
That's cool.
somebody who everybody knows. So I'm going to keep it a secret until the day of.
Okay.
All right, Jerry, you the last one. Tell everybody bye.
Good night, everybody.
Y'all
See ya.
have a good one. Take care.
All right. Good night, all.
Take care, everybody.
See ya.